Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Volker Getz. I'm the director of VIDO, and it's my great pleasure today to welcome the Honourable Daniel Vandal, the Honourable Scott Moe, His Worship Charlie Clark, government ministers and dignitaries, our friends of VIDO donors, and many of them are actually here, including Malcolm and Marilyn Leggett. I don't know exactly where you are, but I will meet you afterwards. There they are, hello. And also the Remys, the Remy family. Laurie is here, I think. And our special guests to VIDO to celebrate the construction completion of our new vaccine development center. As we gather here today, though, I'd like to also acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. We pay our respect to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this place and reaffirm our relationship with one another. Vaccines are the most cost-effective way of preventing infectious diseases. And that's why today we're so pleased to celebrate the completion of construction of our Vaccine Development Center, as we call it, an in-house vaccine manufacturing facility that has been now years in the making. And in fact, the project started under Andy Potter, former director of VIDO, who's also here in the audience. This new world-class manufacturing center will play an important role in Canada's life science and biomanufacturing strategy. As one of the few centers in the world, this facility will be able to make all relevant vaccine technologies, from RNA vaccines to protein subunit vaccines to live and inactivated vaccines to viral vectors. All of those can be made in this facility for both human and animal diseases. And moreover, this facility is integrated into Canada's largest high containment facility, our Intervac facility, and therefore this facility will be able to make vaccines for those pathogens, for those diseases that need higher level of containment. And if you look globally, there is less than 10 facilities in the whole world that have the ability to do this. The Vaccine Development Center will enhance our country's ability, therefore, to advance any new vaccine innovation and strengthen our readiness for any new disease there is to come. As one of the few research centers in the world, then, VIDO will be able to conduct and support full spectrum of research and development. That means from discovery to testing, and now to include also process development and manufacturing. And with construction complete, we will now proceed with facility certification and commissioning, and in fact look forward to making our first vaccines in our own in-house facility in the very, very near future. But all of that is only part of the vision for VIDO to become Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. And that also includes an upgrade of our containment area to the highest level of containment, to containment level 4, enabling us to work with any pathogen, whether it's a human or an animal pathogen that might emerge in the future. We're also building a new animal facility just on the other side of this wing here that will enable us to house those exotic animals, those exotic species from which we see these diseases jump into humans or sometimes back into animals. And lastly, we're now on the way to recruit the world's best scientists to come to VIDO, to come to the University of Saskatchewan here in Saskatoon, and provide training opportunities for the next generation of researchers who have that skill to work in containment, who will have the skills to operate a manufacturing facility, and who will be able to manufacture vaccines for the future. So we're very excited to celebrate the Vaccine Development Center today and give our thanks to the federal government, to the provincial government, to the city of Saskatoon, the many founding partners that have come together, and the Friends of VIDO donors that enabled this first key step. We also recognize the USask Project Management Office, Architecture 49, and Graham Construction for the roles in this project. VIDO is now set to become Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. We have a short video that we're going to show you now to give you an overview of our Vaccine Development Center as part of becoming Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. The University of Saskatchewan's Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization, or VIDO, is a global leader in infectious disease research and vaccine development for humans and animals. VIDO has already some of the largest and most advanced containment infrastructure in the world and is now expanding to become Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. For VIDO to take on the role of Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research, we will be the leading centre in Canada to specifically focus on any new diseases, whether they are diseases of humans and animals, and be able, through our in-house manufacturing facility, to rapidly respond to these emerging threats. We will help Canada to be better prepared for the next emerging disease.
Aujourd'hui, nous célébrons l'achèvement de la construction de notre centre de développement de vaccins. The Vaccine Development Center is a containment Level 3 capable GMP biomanufacturing facility, one of only a few such facilities in the world. This facility will allow us to manufacture a range of biologics, including vaccines for both humans and animals, right here in Saskatchewan. Le Centre de développement de vaccins jouera un rôle essentiel en aidant à stimuler l'innovation de nouveaux vaccins en complétant le fossé entre la recherche de découverte et la préparation commerciale. The next steps are completing facility commissioning, certification, and then manufacturing our first vaccines.
When the pandemic hit and everyone had to hunker down, you sprung into action. You put aside your research projects and your long-standing responsibilities and focused on COVID-19 in extraordinary ways. What you're able to do here with the combination of the medical school and the veterinary facility and the research and what you're going to be able to do with manufacturing facility is absolutely extraordinary. And these are beautiful buildings and beautiful institutions. But again, they don't mean anything if it's not for the extraordinary people who believe in this, who set aside so much of their own time and brilliance to focus on science and on serving their fellow citizens and fellow citizens of the world.
We are proud to celebrate this achievement at the University of Saskatchewan and the important role we continue to play in protecting Canada and the world from infectious diseases.
Thank you to the Government of Canada, the Government of Saskatchewan, the City of Saskatoon, the founding partners, and the many friends of VIDO that helped to make this day possible. And to moderate now today's discussion, I'd like to hand over the events to the Vice President of Research of the University of Saskatchewan, Dr. Baljet Singh.
Thank you very much, Volker. Colleagues, we are very proud of the vision that Volker and his team has for the development of VIDO, the vaccine development and manufacturing at VIDO, and the development of Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. And the way his team is accomplishing that vision is quite remarkable. We are delighted to be on your team, Volker, as you have embarked on this very ambitious agenda for our country. We also have distinguished guests with us today to celebrate this milestone at VIDO. And the University of Saskatchewan is fortunate to have a president who has an ambitious vision as to what the University of Saskatchewan can contribute to a better world. So I invite our president, Peter Stoichev, to share his remarks with the audience now.
Thank you very much, Baljet, and welcome everybody to this really wonderful event. This day has been a long time in the making. Not just a year, not just a couple of years, but when you look back over all the fundamental research that had to go into getting us to this point, it's been a long time in the making. I want to repeat, but with a slightly different spin on it, the thanks that Volker gave to all levels of government, the founding partners, and the sponsors as well. It's a real Saskatchewan story, not just a University of Saskatchewan story, but a real Saskatchewan story, all levels of government getting together. We saw it with the synchrotron, we're seeing it again now. It's why the future of Canada is in Saskatchewan's hands, and why this university is the university that is always thinking every day of how it can be what the world needs. So I thank everybody, and Volker, your tremendous team and your tremendous leadership that has brought us together here today. VIDO is one of the world's most advanced and secure high-containment research labs, and celebrating this innovative vaccine production facility is what has brought us all together. It's a tremendous moment for us. This facility, the one that Volker was speaking of, the manufacturing facility, fills a dire need that has never been more evident than over the past 2 years. And it really underscores the value of public investment in facilities and infrastructure, and it also underscores that value of basic research. Thanks to the investments by our national and provincial governments and by visionary donors who have stepped up to ensure VIDO's role as Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research, a role that Volker and his team began to envision 2-3 years ago. The University of Saskatchewan is able to continue building on its legacy of contributing to growing the economic and social health of our province, of our city, of the country, and in select areas of expertise, the world. One Health is one of our signature areas of research, and USask's unique cluster of human and animal health units located beside, and this is really important and what makes us unique, beside advanced tools such as a cyclotron and a synchrotron. Not every university has that, not every province has that, not every city has that. We do. Because of all that, we're better equipped than any other university to tackle emerging health challenges such as future pandemics, particularly because the vast majority of infectious viruses are zoonotic. They're transmitted from animals to humans. As many of you now know, the world-class researchers at VIDO were the first in Canada to isolate the virus, to create an animal model for it, and to begin developing a vaccine for it. Those are three firsts in this country, and they all started right here under the leadership of Volker and his team, and with the support of all of you, it couldn't have happened any other way. By expanding VIDO's capacity, we will be able to use this unique infrastructure that we're here to celebrate today to research all pathogens and develop new vaccines and therapeutics from research to production. That whole line, from research right through to production, that too is remarkable and unique. VIDO's global successes and reputation already serve as a drawing card for attracting global experts and researchers to Saskatchewan. Volker mentioned that, and I wanted to underscore the significance of that because of VIDO and because of that unique scientific infrastructure that we have here at the university, because of the federal support, because of the provincial support, because of the private donors' support, because of the founding partners, because of the city's support, and they were very deliberate in their decision, we're able to put all of that together and be a talent magnet for people from around the world who want to be here and to be part of this. Building our capacity to recruit more top-notch talent and to train future infectious disease researchers, we will be better able to accomplish our goal of being the university the world needs. And I just wanted to finish with this, that this university has demonstrated its ability to deliver global solutions in the fields of health, agriculture, and energy for the past 115 years. And we're ready to continue building on that legacy with the support of everybody in this room and far beyond it for key infrastructure like this manufacturing facility. Thank you to all the levels of government, to all our donors, to all our partners who together have led VIDO to this stage of world-class success. It's a real feat of collaboration, of combining all our efforts and resources when the world needs them the most. And thank you as well to the extraordinary VIDO team led by Volker, whose work on behalf of all of us helps ensure every day that our collective future is healthy and bright. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, President Stoichev, for your remarks. It's not very often that the municipal governments contribute directly to the development of research facilities in a city, but in this city, we have seen financial contributions from the City Hall to the development of Canadian Light Source and now the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization, which is quite remarkable and commendable, and we are grateful for that. And I now invite His Worship, Mayor Charlie Clark, to give his remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, and I am very pleased to join everyone here on Treaty 6 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis as we continue the work of reconciliation and living in right relationship on this land. And to Minister Vandal from the federal government, Premier Mo from the provincial government, all the representatives from each order of government that have joined and been part of this, to the Leggett family, Malcolm and Marilyn, and I know the Ramey family is here, and all of the people who've been donors to this incredible project, and to President Stoichev and the university, family of university people who've played such a key role in this as partners, and to Dr. Gertz and to your incredible team, all of the staff and Trina and everybody who has been working so hard to get to this day. I remember when it was just an idea, and I have to say it's incredible to be here today to see it come to a reality. A building with an overhead tunnel going to it that wasn't there, and a manufacturing facility. It's very, very exciting. And this is the second exciting and important day for me, or event today for me, because earlier today I was at my son's grade 8 graduation at North Park Wilson School. And it was I was thinking about coming here as I was sitting there, as I watched this group of diverse, energized, excited grade 8s walk across the stage and talk about the future. They each talked about what they wanted to become and their futures. And I thought about the world that they're growing up in and the city that they're growing up in and the province that they're growing up in. And what do they want? They want to know they're living in a city that's going to have opportunities for them, chances to become part of solving meaningful problems, and being part of teams that are doing meaningful work in their community. And they want to know they're living in a world that's safe, that has the answers to address some of the uncertainties. And they've all just lived through COVID. And I remember talking to you, Volker, a number of times about why can't we get a vaccine sooner in Canada? And the answer was, well, we don't have the integrated facility. We have to have research going on in Winnipeg and lab tests being sent here, and there's backlogs everywhere, and so we're not able to deliver for those kids, for everybody. And that this will give us a chance to be, as has been said, one of 10 facilities in the world and the only facility in Canada that allows us to do this, building on the incredible knowledge and expertise of VIDO, starting with Dr. Potter and starting with all the work that's gone into the 10 commercialized vaccines, 6 world-first vaccines that have already come out of this facility. And what was an education for me also, Dr. Gertz, was that we're now moving to take all that knowledge about animal vaccines and we can apply that to humans. And we all know now, we're waiting, what's the next one we're going to need to address? And it's so exciting that right here in Saskatchewan, thanks to the incredible contributions that wouldn't have happened without all orders of government working together, we're the small partner in this. And the community donors that have stepped up and seen the importance of having this. It worked so well with the Canadian Light Source to all work together to do this, and we see the benefits of that. I think it's a no-brainer for my colleagues on City Council in the city to also unanimously support the contribution we made and all work together to build a great city with a strong future for our young people and a world that is safer. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mayor Charlie Clark, for your remarks. It's quite remarkable. I have had the privilege of meeting with our Premier 3 times in person, and every time we are in a different country. So first time I met the Premier in London, then Dubai, today in our home turf in Saskatchewan. Premier Scott Moe has been a passionate and a strong supporter of University of Saskatchewan and the development of VIDO and the development of vaccine facility and the development of Canada Centre for Pandemic Research. We are so appreciative of his support, and we are grateful for his support for this university and the Vaccine and Infectious Disease Organization. I invite Premier Scott Moe to give his remarks. Premier.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baljet. And I was just thinking, as Mr. Mayor, as you were speaking to that grade 8 class, of just a few more years in K-12 school and a few years with Peter's organization and Volker, then you can employ him right here at the Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. But thank you very much to all that are involved here, Minister Vandal, for being here today, and thank you to your government for being involved. And this is really an opportunity, and I'll speak a little bit more about this in just a moment, of on full display what we can achieve when you have all levels of government as well as so many members of the community that are working closely together. It's an honor and a privilege for me to join you today as we celebrate the completion of VIDO's world-class Canada Centre for Pandemic Excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not only a great day for Saskatchewan, it's a great day for Canada, I would say a great day as well for North America and the world in general. While life is getting back to normal for many of us, we're turning our minds to the future, and again today that is on full display. We're looking ahead as we prepare for what's next, for new diseases that may pose a serious threat not only to animals but also to humans here now at VIDO. And in Canada, one of the most important priorities is expanding our domestic capacity to produce to research, to develop, and actually produce these vaccines. And we learned that during the pandemic. I learned that firsthand through my conversations with Volker, that we need to step up, each of us, and we're doing that, and that's again is on display today when it comes to the rapid development and production of vaccines, whether they be for animals in our providing food security to the world, or whether it be for us as humans in our communities across this province, this nation, this continent, and this world. Canada, and more specifically in Saskatchewan, we already are a global leader in vaccine research, and I would say that this now is going to continue most certainly into the future, and that has been much thanks to the very talented team that Volker leads here at VIDO in Saskatoon, working at this beautiful facility. We are going to continue to be a global leader in vaccine, not only research, but now development and production for years into the future. President Stoichkov, he has talked about the remarkable track record that this organization has. The fact that it was researchers at VIDO who were the first in Canada to isolate the COVID-19 virus and to begin the development of a vaccine domestically. And that might have surprised some folks outside of Saskatchewan. I don't think it surprised anyone that lives inside the province of Saskatchewan, as VIDO has a rich history led by Dr. Potter for a number of years. Most certainly, it was not a surprise for those of us that live in Saskatchewan. It was only logical that we then take advantage of what the next step is in vaccine development and vaccine production. Ladies and gentlemen, our government is very pleased to support VIDO year in, year out in the research that they do. We are proud to provide ongoing operational support to the researchers that do such important work here each and every day, and that support most certainly is going to continue into the future. And I want to take the opportunity as well to thank all levels of government, specifically thank the federal level of government for their generous contribution to this project. I can remember as well as Mayor Clark had said, when this was an idea that Volker and his team had put together, Volker had talked to us. I had then reached out to Chrystia Freeland. We both had an ask before us at that point in time, as well as the City of Saskatoon had an ask. I talked with Mayor Clark, and I think this is actually a good lesson in how quickly things happen at the different levels of government. The federal government, I think, received their ask first, then the province, then the municipality. I think it was the municipality that actually moved in support publicly first. It was then the province quickly, and then the federal government. And with the support of the university, with the support of so many individuals, families, families, the Leggett family, the Remay family, that are contributing, and so many others that are contributing not only to this project, but contributing to projects in communities across this province. This is a true testament to what we can achieve when everyone is working towards the same goal. It is truly, yes, a Saskatchewan project, but I think in fairness, it is a Canadian project. It is a project that is going to benefit all Canadians, and it is a global project that is most certainly is going to put VIDO and Saskatoon and Canada on the map when it comes to vaccine research, human vaccine research into the future. A project that only enhances the reputation of not only VIDO, but the University of Saskatchewan, a world leader in all types of research and innovation. So congratulations to Volker and your team for achieving, turning your idea into a tremendously beneficial project. And thank you to all of those that are involved in ensuring that this project comes to fruition.
Thank you very much, Premier Moe, for your remarks. As has been said, this has been an outstanding partnership between three levels of the government, the municipal, the city of Saskatoon, the province, and the federal government. Without federal government support, this project would not be here today, so that's why we have Minister Vandal. Thank you so very much for taking the time, Minister, to be with us today and bring greetings on behalf of the federal government. Please, your remarks.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and it's a great honor to be here on behalf of the Government of Canada for this important day for Saskatoon, for the university, for the province, and of course for the country. C'est toujours un grand plaisir d'être présent pour un événement aussi important au nom du gouvernement fédéral. Just over 2 years ago, our world changed. Canadians suddenly faced a new global challenge that required us to stay home to keep each other safe from COVID. We missed milestone events like birthdays and graduations. We spoke to few friends and families across a screen and found new ways to work and found new ways to learn. We lost loved ones. Our world became just that much smaller. It was critical for us to take immediate and to take significant action to support people, businesses, and organizations facing the hardships of COVID-19. That's what we did through Canada's COVID-19 Emergency Response Plan. If there was ever a time where the whole world needed what's on offer here today, it was during the last 2 years. For the researchers and the scientists here at the University of Saskatchewan and VIDO, the hard work was only just beginning. The world was looking for answers, and the world was looking for a solution to this global health challenge, and all of you put everything that you were doing aside to focus on COVID with urgency and with resolve. And you have been strengthening your expertise in coronavirus research, developing and testing vaccines, and expanding biomanufacturing capacity. You are saving lives, and Canadians will forever be grateful to you for exactly that. And across Canada, but especially here in Saskatchewan, is home to the most skilled and the most respected researchers in the world. Many of them are here at VIDO and at the University of Saskatchewan today. And simply put, we thank you. To match your initiative and the support, and to support the work that you've been doing, our government is investing in VIDO to protect Canadians, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, and to prepare for future pandemics. But our collaboration here is not simply a recent development. Our government has been a longtime supporter of VIDO, even before the pandemic, because of the strong value in this place and the tremendous work that VIDO does. And as Minister of PrairiesCan, I'm proud that our connections go back decades. PrairiesCan was here at the University of Saskatchewan during early research and development and the construction of VIDO's facilities. And we have worked closely with VIDO more recently to help the team confront the challenges of COVID and to be ready for future pandemics. And through PrairiesCan, our government is investing close to $100 billion since 2018 to establish VIDO's Western Canadian Vaccine Manufacturing Facility, to create the National Centre for Pandemic Research, and to enable VIDO to develop a full range of human and animal vaccines for infectious diseases. These investments are protecting Canadians and bolstering the reputation of Saskatchewan and Canada as a centre of scientific excellence. They are also attracting some of the best and brightest scientific minds to work on this globally significant research right here in Saskatoon. Canada has all the ingredients to be a world-class leader in researching, in developing, and in producing vaccines. I was very excited to tour the facility earlier today and see how our collective investments and the work that you're doing here will benefit all of Canadians. This facility and the work being done here by researchers and scientists is something for which you and Canadians can be very proud of. So thank you to everyone at VIDO and at the University of Saskatchewan for all that you have accomplished with your hard work, particularly over the last couple of years, knowing that you are helping to protect Canadians and people all over the world for many, many years to come. I look forward to our continued work together. C'est un plaisir d'être ici. Thank you so much, miigwech, and merci. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Vandal, for your comments. And this, again, is a very classical Canadian thing. When we join hands, we work together, we accomplish great things. And VIDO is one of those accomplishments that Canadians are very proud of. The collaboration between all levels of government and our visionary donors and the scientists at VIDO is showing the fruit of that hard work. So congratulations to everyone on this milestone and to our distinguished guests as well. Our time is limited, but to make the best use of their time, we are going to have a panel discussion now. And so I invite our panelists to take the seats, please. And this is where it becomes more fun to ask questions and let our panelists answer those questions, to talk about the impact of the work taking place at VIDO, the vaccine development, the biomanufacturing, and protecting the health of the animals and the humans, not only in Saskatchewan, but in Canada and beyond. So we won't miss this opportunity to have this panel discussion. You will see the level of difficulty of questions will rise based on the proximity of the office of the panelist to my office. So meaning the most difficult question will go to President Stoichev at some point today. And so Minister Vandal has traveled from afar, so the easiest question goes to him. Minister, since the start of the pandemic, the federal government has invested heavily to support VIDO's COVID-19 vaccine development and biomanufacturing capacity. How are investments like this helping to rebuild a strong and resilient domestic biomanufacturing and life science sector? Minister?
Yes, thank you for that question. And first of all, let me say again how great it is for me to be here today. I started off hopping on a plane in my hometown of Winnipeg at 6:45 this morning and had to go to Calgary, but I'm now in Saskatoon, and I have to go back to Calgary to get home, but that's going to change very soon. Listen, we've gone through an incredibly difficult couple of years. I don't have to say much more about that. One thing that became crystal clear early on was that we needed a way to make vaccines in Canada, and that was something that was very clear early on. There had been some tremendous work done with VIDO early on, and there was some outreach and some early investments to arrive at what we are celebrating today. And I think it's important to build capacity as PrairiesCan Minister, of course, from Winnipeg, I think it's important to build capacity in Saskatchewan, certainly, but also in Manitoba and in Alberta. And we have that to varying degrees with the microbiology lab in Winnipeg, as well as the Center for Microbiology in Edmonton, and all of the universities working closely together. I think the future is to make sure that we are ready for another pandemic, whenever that may emerge, whether it's 2 years or 20 years from now. We need to make sure we have the structure, the framework in research and education ready to move forward if necessary, and hopefully it won't be necessary for a long time. And that's really an important role that the federal government needs to lead on, and work collaboratively with the provinces and municipalities and universities and academia. So I think the work we did here was fantastic. We need to make sure that we are continually collaborating to stay on top of future developments.
Thank you, Minister. Any comments from the panelists to add to what Minister has said?
I'll just say I think we can all agree better flight connections will also improve the quality of life in our city, so if we can all work together on that as well. No more flying to Calgary to get to Saskatoon.
Thank you very much. My next question is to our Premier. Premier, what does it mean for Saskatchewan to have a world-class infectious disease and vaccine research facility in Saskatoon, both in terms of addressing the pandemic and your ambition for Saskatchewan to play a role at a global stage?
Well, I think this expansion of what VIDO is doing, yes, it is important to Saskatchewan, and that's why very quickly the Saskatchewan government made what was a very quick, not quite as quick as the municipality, mind you, but a very quick decision to be to support the ask that was before us at the provincial level. VIDO has been a long-standing leader in vaccine research on the animal side, of which very naturally comes to the province of Saskatchewan and to the Prairie provinces here in Canada. But I think this is much larger than Saskatchewan. I think this very quickly extends to, it's Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. It's not Saskatchewan's Centre for Pandemic Research. And that very much speaks to, one, the commitment of the federal government, all levels of government and all people that are involved, but two, to the benefit of what VIDO is doing today as we go beyond animal vaccines, we go to the development of those vaccines, or so we go to human vaccines, pardon me, along with the level 4 facility to rapidly produce or research and ultimately develop and then produce those vaccines. And it's really an incredible story. And so it's not just Saskatchewan's story. I would even say that as we look at the name of it, Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research, it's not even Canada's story solely. It's going to come from Canada, and I think it's something we can all be proud of in this province and across this nation. But as you said, the first 3 times we met, the third time was in Canada, or even in Saskatchewan for that matter. And so when the province of Saskatchewan is abroad selling our wares, and we do have a global reach, the province of Saskatchewan exports products to over 150 countries around the world. We never travel without our post-secondary institutes. Very seldom do we travel without Volker or part of his team. So the global reach of VIDO most certainly is something that we can be proud of in this city, in this province, and I think we can be proud of as Canadians across the nation as well. And I think it's, as I said in my comments, no one is ever going to accuse me of getting along with the federal government each and every day. Certainly Minister Vandal wouldn't be among those. This is a prime example, and there is a number of them, of what can happen when governments line up along with community support, along with what is started as a great idea. This is what we can accomplish in this nation, and really accomplish for us our contribution as global citizens.
Thank you, Premier, for very inspiring words. And any additional comments from the panelists? Okay.
Listen, I can only say that this is a great example of governments working together, and I think when we're talking about issues of health of Canadians, we will always be there to work with all Canadians, with all provinces, territories, and make sure that we're all on the same page to keep Canadians safe.
Thank you very much, Minister. The next question goes to His Worship Mayor Charlie Clark. Mayor, some still may wonder as to why a municipal government would make investment in a research-focused organization like VIDO. What impact do you see for the city of Saskatoon in supporting VIDO as Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research?
Yeah, I would want to just try and attack that from two different dimensions. One is that the reality we know is that we're talking about dealing with diseases, highly contagious diseases, and you know, some work with animals, and some of these things that can be controversial within a community. But thanks to, and I want to thank the community advisory panel for VIDO and for the community. The reality is that this research has to happen somewhere. And it has to happen in cities, or at least close to cities, because in order to have the talent and the people with the expertise, they're going to want to have quality of life. They're going to want to live in a city adjacent to where this research is happening. And I would like to know that that activity and research is happening in a city as safe and well managed and well supported as a place like Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And you know, our fire chief is here, who's been very involved in the work and oversight. We know this work has to happen because we know the next virus could be coming, and in order for that to protect our planet from that, we want to make sure the research is happening, and so I think it's good that we're able to create the conditions for it to happen safely. Secondly, I had a conversation with a leader of a tech company recently who was talking about, I was asking him why they're able to attract some of the talent to the company that he works with. And he said, you know, what we're finding is that the people that are coming to our company want to be part of work that involves in solving the challenges that the world faces, solving difficult issues. And to have a university in our city that is so engaged in addressing vaccinations, water security, food security, medical research that's incredible, indigenous work and reconciliation it creates a future for our kids. It creates a place that our kids can say, I can come here and I can be part of making the world a better place. And that, to me, is a good reason to support a facility like this in our city, and why investing a little bit in this facility is an investment in really good and exciting jobs for the future. And I'm excited to see what can happen around VIDO, along with the research side, with private investment and companies coming in and building labs here, and all of the other spin-offs that come from the growth of a cluster. And so those are two reasons why it's a worthwhile investment.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Would anybody like to add to Mayor's comments?
I guess I will add to that. So I just wanted to say to Mayor Clark's comments, worthwhile investment in VIDO, yes, but also the city of Saskatoon, being someone who's come from away very recently. I came because of VIDO and the infrastructure and the vision that Dr. Gertz has, but also because of the city of Saskatoon. And, you know, this is a city that I want to raise my family in. And so thank you very much, Mayor Clark, for believing in VIDO, and thank you for having the city that we do.
Thank you. Peter?
Yeah, thank you. I'd add a couple of other things to what the mayor was saying. So he and I, and it was really he, had the vision to create an MOU between the city and the University of Saskatchewan, be really deliberate about how we could work together to try to solve the challenges that the city and beyond the city were facing. And this brought in students and researchers, faculty, staff, everybody at every level of the university to work together with the city. So that's the first thing that I'd say. The next thing I'd say is that not everybody in the room would know that this city is the second fastest growing IT hub in the country. Not Toronto, not Vancouver, not Calgary, not Edmonton, not Montreal, Saskatoon. It's got 4 of the fastest growing companies in the country. And all of those are led by graduates of the University of Saskatchewan and are peopled by graduates of the University of Saskatchewan. The city has one of North America's largest research parks in Innovation Place, and it is the site of the fastest growing venture capital investment on the continent. So people want to be here. And it's incumbent on the university, and I'm joined here by members of the board, by deans, by faculty members, by other leaders at the university. It's incumbent that the university understand that it has to play a role, and it is playing that role, but it has to understand what that role is within that innovation ecosystem. But Saskatoon's a fantastic place, and people across the country and around the world are starting to understand that the innovation that goes on here is profound.
Maybe just a comment on not only the benefit to the municipality, but also what's happening here at the broader university level, the University of Saskatchewan level, and it is in Saskatoon and it is in Saskatchewan. And I'm reminded of a question or a conversation Preston Smith and I had a number of years ago with the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital. And I asked Preston, I said, why do we have to locate that where it is, adjacent to the university? I said, we're tight for space there already, and pretty soon we're just going to have to build a parkade. That's a bunch more money. Why didn't we put it somewhere where we had a bunch more space? And he said, listen, you don't understand, and which people say to me a lot, but Preston did that particular day. He said, we need it close to the College of Medicine at the University of Saskatchewan, because he said we're going to be attracting the very best surgeons to work on our family, on our youth here in the province. Those same surgeons are then going to be lecturing, teaching at the University of Saskatchewan in the College of Medicine. And who better to have access to at your University of Saskatchewan than some of the best scientists, some of the best doctors in that case, or some of the best scientists in the case of VIDO Intervac. For our students to have access, our provincial students, our Canadian students, but all having access at the University of Saskatchewan in the city of Saskatoon. And I think that analogy holds true for what Volker is doing here at VIDO, and most certainly is true for so many of the participants that we have in and around this university environment, and among those is the tech world as well.
Thank you, Premier, for these comments. And so the next question, which truly is a very difficult question for Peter, and it's going to, Peter, that's for all the work you throw at me. USask's mission is to be what the world needs. VIDO has been actively living out this purpose, and the pandemic has highlighted the organization's importance. What is it about the University of Saskatchewan's culture and character that encourages this kind of accomplishment and discovery?
Yeah, thanks for that question. It's a valuable one to try to answer. If you go back to the beginnings of this university, the spirit of it was to be outward-facing. An example of that was the College of Agriculture's Farm Train that would take agriculture experts out into the province to try to help farmers with tilling techniques and crop development and so on, which ended up creating our Crop Development Center that just celebrated its 50th anniversary. But the spirit of this university has always been outward-facing. We carry that forward today with our mantra of being the university the world needs. It's not a boast, it's saying that that's what we aspire to do, and what VIDO is doing is a perfect example of that. So on the one hand, we carry out a lot of fundamental or basic research, and by that I mean research that doesn't necessarily have a predictable goal to be used in a certain way. But at the same time, we look for opportunities to take that basic research and turn it to the advantage of the citizens of this province and this country and beyond. So that's the first thing I'd say. It's part of the DNA of this university to be outward-facing and sort of service-oriented, if you will. And that's not true of every university. I'm not sure that it needs to be, but it's really true of the university that's named after this province, because the province has that as part of its fiber as well. Second thing I'd say is that we, as a result, are attracting talent from all over the world. We have students here from over 130 countries around the world. 130 countries. 2 years ago, it was 138 countries. They want to be here because they sense that something is happening at this university, in this province, in this city. And that is what enables us to become the university that the world needs. And we select those areas where we have particular expertise very carefully. We can't be that kind of university in all areas, but One Health is one of those areas. So it speaks to, yeah, the original spirit, I'd say, of this university being very collaborative. The other thing I'd say is that what we've been talking about is a theme throughout this afternoon of all levels of government, private citizens supporting organizations, supporting the work that goes on here. That's something that's very unique to this place. And seeing all of that collaboration, as the Premier mentioned, and as I think, and as I was mentioning, it's behind what brought Canada's one synchrotron here, and there were many other places where it could have gone in the country, but it came here, and it was because of that collaborative support and that collaborative vision. And the university is always looking for opportunities to collaborate and to be part of that partnership that can exist on so many levels. So I'd say those are the two reasons why this university can be part of VIDO's success, can help to support it, can help to propel it, to help to sustain it, because it goes back to the original spirit of what this university was 115 years ago.
Thank you, Peter. Any additional comments, Mayor?
Well, I would like to build quickly on the partnership between the city and the university as well. And you know, I think as soon as I became mayor, it was not very long after you became the president, you know, and I think immediately we realized that we're going to benefit by working together. And one of the reasons from my point of view is that the kind of issues we're facing at the city right now, we don't have playbooks to address, whether it's, you know, making sure we have access to water with change of climate, facing global pandemics. We've got addictions, mental health issues, you know, that were going on in our community that are a big challenge. And we got a university full of powerful brains of people that the more we can make a link between the issues we're facing in our community and the research that's going on that helps us to address it, but also for the university, for those students to start to have places and engagements with people who are in the real world tackling these issues and sharing that knowledge has been, it's a model that I think we're all going to need as we continue to work together to address the future. And I think another thing that's really unique and important to recognize in Saskatchewan that we have is the link between the urban and the rural, and the knowledge of the agricultural industry and what it takes to produce food and for the world in the growing way. But also when it comes to the vaccine development, and you have a board chair who's a rancher and who brings the knowledge of working with cattle every day to this experience of VIDO. That kind of link that we have between the city and the rural areas and working together to bring all of that expertise towards addressing these issues that we're facing is something that I think we have to offer the world here in Saskatoon and in Saskatchewan and in Canada. And so I really like the spirit of this panel of realizing, you know, the way where we find that common opportunity to work together and build on that knowledge and experience of the different parts that we each bring. We can do a lot of great things together, and this is a perfect example.
Thank you very much, Mayor. It's remarkable, you know, universities are ranked in many ways across the globe. This university, when it comes to the things that matter the most, which is the sustainability of the communities, alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and something that our province talks about, strong and sustainable Saskatchewan. This university is ranked number 58 out of more than 1,400 universities around the globe. So it truly speaks to the breadth of the work from social sciences to policy, to crop development, to synchrotron, to vaccines that University of Saskatchewan does to make our communities, local and global, more sustainable. The last question goes to my dear colleague, Dr. Trina Racine, who is VIDO's Associate Director of Vaccine Development. Trina, can you comment on the facility capabilities and how the Vaccine Development Center will help strengthen Canada's biomanufacturing landscape? And how does Vaccine Development Center ties into VIDO becoming Canada's Center for Pandemic Research? Thank you.
Oui, merci Baljet pour cette question et bienvenue à tous pour notre événement d'ouverture aujourd'hui. So VIDO, of course, has a One Health approach to how we do our research, and our new Vaccine Development Center is falling in line with that, in that we're going to be able to produce both vaccines for animals and humans And we're going to be doing that using mammalian cell culture, bacterial cell culture, and then we're going to be able to produce vaccines using multiple different platforms: live attenuated vaccines, inactivated vaccines, viral vectored, subunit, RNA, and DNA-based vaccines. Did you get that? So this multifaceted, very unique facility brings to VIDO a capacity that doesn't exist anywhere else in Canada. And to add to that uniqueness, because we've built the facility in our Intervac building, our level 3 containment facility, we will be able to produce vaccines under level 3 containment. And as we've mentioned already before, we're only going to be, there's only a handful of facilities like that in the world. There's no other facility in Canada can do that. So that definitely, speaks to the capabilities that we will now have here at VIDO. The Vaccine Development Centre was going to play a part in Canada's biomanufacturing landscape by driving innovation and bridging the gap through the process development work that we're going to do to help bring academic discoveries and the small Canadian pharmaceutical company discoveries will help bridge that gap to push towards commercialization so that those wonderful vaccines, therapeutics don't die on the bench, right? That they're going to have a place in a commercial market down the road. So all the taxpayer dollars that help fund that research is going to make a difference. And the last thing you mentioned about how does that play into VIDO becoming Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. Well, the VDC, as we call the Vaccine Development Centre, is just one piece in that puzzle. The excellent discovery research that our wonderful scientists, technicians, students are doing here will now have an opportunity to move more quickly into the clinical trials for human vaccines, into field testing for veterinary vaccines. So that way, as we discover, we develop, we're going to do that in a more timely and more cost-effective manner so that, again, the ultimate goal is to bring these innovative products to the public.
Thank you. Trina, any additional comments from the panelists?
I said it all.
Thank you very much. As you see, the VIDO is part of an ecosystem in the city of Saskatoon, which is really anchored by the University of Saskatchewan to bring the talent to the city, do the discoveries, then hopefully build a network of private entities around VIDO so that we can create jobs, we can create commercial products, and we can grow our province and its economic impact and impact on the global well-being through the discoveries that we make at VIDO. Thank you very much to all the panelists for very insightful and inspiring comments that you have made today. And so I request you to return to your seats now as the discussion panel is, that this is over. Before I invite the chair of the board, Ryan Thompson, who has been providing steady leadership to the board during massive expansion of VIDO, I want to make a comment on One Health because every panelist did talk about that. It was only 3-4 weeks ago that my friend Volker and I hosted a national One Health conversation right in this room, in which President of Canadian Institutes of Health Research and President of Public Health Agency of Canada came personally to participate in. So we are really leading the conversation nationally to build a One Health strategy so that we can look at the animal health, human health, and the environmental health linking to the public policy at the same time. The reason that discussion happened in this room has already been elaborated by the mayor, by the premier, by the president, and the minister, is the reason that we gathered in this room to talk about One Health. With these words, I invite our chair of the VIDO Board of Directors, Ryan Thompson, to bring this event to a closure. And with his remarks, Ryan.
Thank you, Baljet, and thank you, everyone, for coming today. This is a fantastic day for VIDO and a fantastic day for everyone in Saskatchewan and Canada. This facility is the first key step in becoming Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. I've been a member of the board of directors for a number of years now, and you know, we've had this vision and Volker's leadership these last number of years as well, and a number of events that have finally pushed this vision over the top. And You know, I'm extremely proud to say that the board is very supportive of everything that's going on here and becoming Canada's Centre for Pandemic Research. As Mayor Clark mentioned earlier, I'm just a rancher from southern Saskatchewan. I mean, we've got fantastic researchers and very knowledgeable people here, but I understand firsthand what emerging diseases can do and the damage they can cause. And having a facility like this and people like this here is key importance to not only Saskatchewan, but Canada and the world as well. So now I'm proud to say that, you know, VIDO is the utmost facility for preparing us to respond to these emerging diseases. Whether those diseases are animal diseases or livestock diseases, we have the best facility here in Saskatoon. We've heard a number of comments today about, you know, investment in this facility and you know, how this facility is unique to Canada. It's the only one in Canada and one of the best in the world. I'd argue that maybe it's the best in the world, but there's a lot of other people say there's many others out there. But one thing I would like to assure you, and I think you'll see some of this later, you know, when you join us for the tour and have a chance to visit with some of our team here. VIDO, by far, and it's not even close, has the best team of any facility of this nature in the entire world. And I can assure you of that. And you've seen just a little bit here, hearing Volker talk and hearing Trina talk, and you can see how passionate and excited they are about what they do. And you know, I'm unique that I have the opportunity to visit and attend some staff functions, and you know, seeing that staff interact and seeing how proud they are of what's going on here is really second to none. So I do want to thank, again, you know, all levels of government, federal government, provincial government, and the City of Saskatoon for their financial support. And, you know, I think I can speak on behalf of our panelists as well and say thank you to the Friends of VIDO and all of the support here in this room today. You know, taking your hard-earned money and saying, I believe in the vision of VIDO, you know, says a lot to us. And we're going to take good care of that investment, I assure you of that. So I just want to say, again, thank you to everybody for your level of investment, and you're investing in a fantastic facility, but even more important than that, you're investing in the best team in the world, and I think you can be proud of that investment. So with that, just a few housekeeping details. We're going to invite everybody to stay and join. We've got a reception next door here in the atrium. You know, from the atrium, we'll be organizing tours of the facility as well. So if you come next door to the atrium and visit for a while, we'll get everybody organized into certain tour groups, and we'll get anybody that wants the opportunity to tour through the facility, we will get that done. As well, anybody involved that needs media availability, Victoria is in the back. She is going to coordinate that for us, and that will be outside just near the Intervac building. So thanks again, everyone, for coming. Look forward to having a visit with you here next door in the atrium. Let's have a great day.